So let's go ahead and get added in here. We're live at night. This is our first nighttime show. People have been asking us to come in at night to do a nighttime show, and I want to bring it to you now. So we're going to be talking about interest cancellation tonight in a way that you probably never heard of it before at our nighttime show. So I want you guys to stay tuned, plug in, get somebody else on, share this content, join our channel. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and whenever we're on, you are going to get fantastic content. So let's get ready to have a great show tonight. All right, I need you to stay tuned. Oh, there we are. Listen, if you want to see this, we're going to be putting some things on the screen right now. We're going to be jumping into this thing, and we're going to break down how a mortgage actually works, some of the mechanics behind mortgages, and what you've never been told about them. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you. Okay, so we're going to put that on. There it is. All right, so we're going to just go over some of the basics tonight, okay? So I need you to pay attention to, we're going to put on the screen here a $200,000 mortgage at 6%, which you can't get right now, all right? We're going to do some 7% mortgages here in a minute, but I want to show you some things, just some basic mechanics. I'm not showing you the P.I.L.L method. P.I.L.L method stands for prepayment of principal, isolating the principal amount, leverage, and liquidity. So let me bring our graphic back on the screen for just a second, because what is happening is interest money is being lost. We are losing interest money hand over fist, and we actually need AI to help us to recover that so that we don't have to lose all that money. See, it's not just enough to pay off the loan early. It's not enough just to pay extra on the loan. What you want to do is save the maximum amount of interest that's mathematically possible for you. And the P.I.L.L method, AI, cloud-based computing platform, is the way to go. But even before we get there, you need to understand some of the basics behind how mortgages work. So if you want to see this, go to YouTube. The link is above your head here in Clubhouse. So go to YouTube so you will be able to see what we're talking about here. A $200,000 mortgage at 6%. The payment is $1,199.10. Let me go ahead and $1,199.10. I'm scrolling down here to right here. This is the summary, ladies and gentlemen. This is what you see when you're closing, but it is not totally explained to us. What we're looking at is a $200,000 mortgage at 6%, but here is how much interest the bank wants. $231,676. That's just the interest. $231,676 on a $200,000 loan. By the time you finish paying this thing off, the bank wants $431,676. That's one house for you, one house for them. How many of you are interested in doing that? I need you to get some people in here because we're going to show you how you don't have to do this. All right. I also want to show you that this is not 6%. I need you to read this because it's part of your mortgage information. They have to give this to you now. And it's this statement right here. It's called the TIP. Total interest paid as a percentage of principal, 115.838%. That's right. Your 6% mortgage is actually 115.838%. And when you get a 7% mortgage, it's even more than that. But let me tell you something right now. You can cancel interest like a boss. You can cancel interest. You do not have to pay all of that interest. Can I just show you a couple of things that you need to know how a mortgage actually works? So let me go down here to payment number one. And as you can see, payment number one, when you make your payment of $1199.10, $199.10, that goes to principal. What? $199.10 goes to principal? $1,000 goes to interest? $1,000 goes up in smoke. Oh my goodness. So when you pay your money, and when we take a look at that, can I do just a little bit of math for you? I'm gonna put this on the screen. You need to see this. I'm gonna put my calculator on the screen. Okay. There we go. Let's move this over. All right. So if the first interest payment is $1,000 and you divide it by the entire payment, divided by $1,199.10, here's what you get: 83%. 83% of this payment is just interest alone, not 7%, not 6%, 83% of your payment. So in other words, listen, if you want to make comments, ask questions, put it in the comment section. It's open. I'm ready for your comments. I see some of you who are watching us right now online. So I want to know where you're watching us from. Put it in the comment section. Tell us who you are. Okay. So 83% of your payment is interest alone. In other words, out of every dollar you put towards this mortgage, 83 cents of every dollar goes to interest. Only 17 cents out of every dollar pays the mortgage. And this is legal. Did you know that? But did you also know you don't have to do it this way? You don't have to. You don't have to give 83% of your money away. The same formula that charges you all of that interest is the same formula you're going to use to save you money. Let me give you a hint of what is happening with this mortgage interest. So when you make this first payment, they subtract the $199.10 from the $200,000. Once they subtract that, look what you have left: $199,800.90. But Don, like I said, it's a 6% mortgage. How in the world are they going to charge me interest here in a way that I can understand it? Well, let me bring my calculator back, because they're going to use the balance on line one to figure out how much interest you pay on line two. Let's see how that's done. I'm going to bring my calculator back so you guys can see it. Okay. Where'd it go? It's hiding somewhere. There it is. Okay. So let's clear this out. You take 6%, 0.06, put it in as a decimal. All right. You divide it by 12. There it is. Once you divide it by 12, you come up with 0.005. This is the amount they use every single month. They take your interest rate, divide it by 12, and then multiply it by the unpaid balance. So in this case, Our unpaid balance is $199,800.90 now. So let's multiply it by $199,800.90. There it is. And that equals, I did something wrong. I left off a zero. Let's do it again. Let's do that again. So it's 0.005 times, all right, $199,800.90. There it is. Equals $999. There it is. $999 interest on line 2. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. So when we have every single time we have a new mortgage payment, they take 1/12 of your interest rate and multiply it by the unpaid balance. And the rest goes to principal. So as you can see here, the interest on line 1 is $1,000. The principal is $199.10. But on line 2, the interest is $999, but the dollar goes over to the principal side. So every single month, a little more goes to principal, a little less goes to interest. But over the year, oh my gosh. So if it's 199, if it's 1199.10, $1,199.10. Look at that. 190, and we multiply that by 12. Okay. There it is. In 1 year, you pay out $14,389.20. But because they get to discount your payment by 83%, by the end of the year, after you've given them $14,389.20, look here at cumulative. Look at cumulative principal here. You got principal, you got interest, you got cumulative principal. Look at the end of 1 year. Out of $14,389, only $2,456 and a penny counts to pay down the loan. How much was burned up in interest? $11,933.19. Ouch! Is that, listen, do you want to pay your $14,000 so that only $2,456.19 counts for you? Is that what you want? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. What's going on here? Do you want to do something about that? Let me show you something here. What's going on, Hussam? You can come up on the stage. It's just you and me here. Okay? Let's talk about it. All right. So let me show you something about how there is a weakness in this system. And knowing the weakness, you can save a lot of money. So if I make my first mortgage payment here, let's call this January. I'm making my first payment in January, $1199.10. I can see February's principal payment. Now, like I said, I'm not explaining to you the P.I.L.L method. I'm just explaining some mortgage mechanics, information we should have received in 7th or 8th grade. But there's a reason why this is not taught in school, okay? Because there's a lot of money to be made here because we don't understand it. So, but the same math that's charging us all this interest is the same math we can use to keep from paying that same amount of interest. Watch this. So if I pay my payment and my mortgage in January, $1199.10, I can see the principal payment here on line 2. That would be February's payment. My question is, do I have to wait till February to give the bank this $200.10? If you're in Clubhouse and you want to see what's going on, click on that link above. That'll take you straight to YouTube so that you can watch this. You need to see the numbers for it to make sense. So, do I have to wait till February to give the bank an additional $200.10? No, I do not. I could give it to them in January. And if I do, guess what? They have to subtract this from what I owe immediately. All of it. I've already paid interest in January. I don't have to pay any more interest. So once I give them the $200.10, it has to go to principal. So I'm paid down to line 2 on my mortgage balance, where I owe $199,600.80. So in January, they have to use that number, the $199,600.80, to calculate my next mortgage payment, the interest on my next mortgage payment, which will be on line 3. So if what I said was true, then the interest should come out to $998. So let's do that. We're going to take our 6% mortgage. Okay, let's clear that out. We're going to take 0.06 divided by 12, and we get 0.005. We're going to multiply this now, not by the $199,800, but by the $199,600.80. Okay, so we're going to subtract it. We're going to multiply it by $199,600.80. Look at there. Equals, there it is, $998. So we start out on payment number 1. We give the bank an extra $200.10. And our next mortgage payment is on line 3 of our amortization schedule, which means we skip right over line 2, and this $999 in interest, you never have to pay. If you got any questions about this, put it in the chat, okay? And if you want to come on stage with me, if you're here in YouTube, you want to come on stage with me, let me give you a link so you can come on in, okay? There it is. I'm putting it in the comment section. There it is. I see some of you in here. And there it is, folks. There's a link. You put it into, use Chrome, use Google Chrome, and you can come into our studio and be part of our studio audience and ask questions directly. You don't even have to type them. We can talk to each other. Come on into the studio. I absolutely love doing this nighttime show because, excuse me, some of you have never seen us live because we're on in the mornings. So I'm coming back in Wednesday morning, and you do not want to miss Wednesday morning when we come back in here, okay? Because Wednesday morning is going to be a special extended show, okay? So what we're going to be talking about Wednesday morning is, let me see if I've got the graphic here. There it is. Mortgage scam exposed. We're going to be breaking this mortgage system all the way down so that anybody, anywhere can understand what's really going on behind the scenes and why this system is making so much money. And everything that we've been taught how to save money actually makes the bank more money. Everything that you've been taught, forget about it. Get rid of it, because once you learn how to read an amortization schedule, once you start using technology, once you start learning how things actually work, you will not do what you've always done to manage mortgages and other loans. You're going to be doing things a lot differently, because by doing them differently, you save a ton of interest. So in this case, what if you made your payment here on line 1? January, I made my line 1. And because you watched this video, you said, well, what if I gave the bank the $200.10 on line 2, the 201.10, and the 202.10? What if I give the bank $603.30 on top of my regular mortgage payment. Do you know I see people all the time that have some money sitting in the bank making 1/10 of 1%? 1/10 of 1%. So if we did this, made our mortgage payment on line 1, give them the principal payment on line 2, 3, and 4, do you realize we eliminate the interest cost on line 2, 3, and 4, nearly $3,000 in interest we never have to pay, and our next mortgage payment is actually on line 5. So when people talk about doubling up on the mortgage, it really doesn't mean a whole nother mortgage payment. What it really means is take a look at your principal payments, and it's the principal that kills interest, not a whole nother payment. You see, it's a small amount of money. Can I do a little bit more math for you? Because I need to show you what your return on investment is. Because when you pay extra on a loan, you should know how much money you're saving. So if we were to go back to line 2, prepay the $200.10, that means we're saving $999 in interest we never have to pay. So here's how you figure ROI. You take the money that you're saving, that would be your benefit for prepaying $200.10. That's $999 you don't have to pay. So a penny saved is a penny earned. That's $999 you don't have to pay to get this $200 in equity. Oh, we're going to talk about equity here in a second. All right. You need to understand that. Okay. So if I'm going to save $999, okay, then what I do is I subtract what I prepaid from the $999. Okay. So I'm going to subtract $200. Let's delete that. Hit that subtraction button. Subtract 200. What is going on with this thing today? Okay. There it is. $200.10. That leaves us $798.90. Now we divide this by the $200 so that we can get our net ROI, return on investment. So we're going to divide it by $200.10. Why does this keep messing up like that? Okay. And 10 cents. Okay. So there we go. And then when you get this answer, you multiply this by 100. Okay. Now, if you want to figure ROI, you can Google it and says, okay, how do I figure ROI? And it'll give you this strategy. Okay. So now when you get the 3.99 here, so you multiply this by 100. There it is. And that's a 399% return on your money. 399%, which means I invest $200. My benefit is a $999 benefit, which means that is a 400% return on my money. 399%. Look at that. Where else are you going to get 399% return on your money, folks? I don't know where else you're going to do that. So if you want to strategically pay off all of your debt, all right, in an average of 7 to 9 years, there is a way to do it. It's called the P.I.L.L method. And I need you right now to watch this. Okay, watch this, and then I'll come back and I will show you how you can save a ton of interest and pay off all of your debt, including your mortgage, in 7 to 9 years. Let's listen to Eric Thomas talk about it.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Eric Thomas, the #1 motivational speaker on the planet right now, who used the P.I.L.L method to pay off his mortgage early. And he's talking about how you can do it too. Listen, it made his wife feel so much better about the mortgage being paid off. And did you know that 9 out of 10 people you know will never pay off a mortgage? 9 out of 10. That can be easily turned around, where 9 out of 10 people actually can pay off a mortgage once they understand mortgage mechanics and how interest cancellation actually works. So go to ice10k.com. I've got it scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Go to ice10k.com. And once you get there, scroll down underneath his picture and click on where it says Get Your Savings and Earnings Report. And this report is complimentary. You don't have to pay a dime for this. You get this report complimentary, and you can know the month, day, and year you could be debt free and how much interest you could save. And if you decide you want to work with us, I'll guarantee you that whatever you invest in the program, we're going to save you 10 times, at least 10 times the interest, and we'll put it in writing. 10 times the interest you invest in this program. If you invest whatever you invest in in this program, you're going to get 10 times that back. And that is just on the first mortgage, because you can put mortgage after mortgage after mortgage into this program. You want to pay off all of your debt and optimize your interest savings. So get your savings and earnings report right now. Go ahead and get it right now. Go ahead and start filling out that paperwork. There is no reason not to. If you have student loans, credit cards, a mortgage, a car loans, you've got a ton of debt, and you're saying, what can I do? Well, what can you do is pay it all off in about 7 years. How? With your current budget. You don't have to refinance. You don't have to make more money. And you don't have to live like a pauper. You can live well. You don't have to sacrifice lifestyle. You can live well while you're getting out of debt, because we're going to show you what is the right amount to pay, what month to put it in, what day of the month to pay it on. And when you do that, you will know the exact amount of interest you will be saving each time, and it will be mathematically the most you can save per dollar. That is what's going to happen when you get this, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get back to this thing. I need to show you some things, all right? Because this is our first nighttime show. I need to show you some things that you probably never seen before. So I know some people who may want to they may have a little extra money and they want to put more down on a loan. How many of you have heard that you should put as much down on your mortgage as possible? And some are even told they need to put down as much as 20%. Okay? You can get away with 10. You can get away at some mortgages, you can get away with 3.5. But at the P.I.L.L method, you put down the least amount of money that you possibly can. I'm going to show you why, even if you have 20%, why you don't want to do it. Once you understand how to read an amortization schedule, I am now going to put up a new tab. We got the same mortgage here, okay? All right. And let's just say we decided that we wanted to do 20% down. That would be $40,000 put down on this loan. Okay, so you would have $160,000 left. 160,000. Okay, that would be our new mortgage at 6%. Here's our payment. Our payment is now $959.28. So the $959.28 is certainly less than this $1199.10. Okay, and the total amount of interest that they want is 185,000, which is certainly less than the 231,000. Okay, but here's the thing: if you put a down payment on this mortgage, and if you're new to Clubhouse and you want to see what we're talking about, go to YouTube, click on that YouTube link, and you'll be able to see what's going on. Instead of you could put 160,000. I'm sorry, you put $40,000 down. You have a new $160,000 mortgage, and you're starting out at payment number one. Payment number one. Okay, but what if you decided not to put down the 40,000? Keep your 40,000 in your pocket. Get the $200,000 loan. Now, what could you do? Put it in the chat. Come up to the stage. Come on in here on YouTube. All right. I gave you the link. You can come and join us. Okay. Instead of putting down a down payment, what about a prepayment? Let me show you what would happen if you kept the $20,000 back, got a 10 and got this $200,000 mortgage. And I need you to take a look at cumulative principal here. Okay, this is all the principal payments added up. So if you made your mortgage payment here on line one in January, what if you took your $40,000 and put it on here as a prepayment? You have to go down where it says cumulative principal here. You have to go down to where it says 40,000. So let's scroll down to $40,000. This is what you could do if you wanted to. You could put that $40,000 down on your very first payment. And look what it does. Right here is 120 payments, folks. 120 payments. That's 10 years. 10 years. Okay. Now we go down to 40,000. Okay. We're already at 11 years. Okay. Right here. This is almost 12 years off. 11 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 11 years, 8 months. You're taking off this mortgage if you decide to put that $40,000 down as a prepayment instead of a down payment. And look here, you still have $160,000 mortgage. Listen, if you're here in Clubhouse right now, this is a new club, Creative Acquisitions and Wholesaling. The P.I.L.L method is going to be taking over on Mondays. Okay. On Mondays, we're going to do our nighttime show and we're going to build up. Okay. I see you, David. We're going to build up a following here at night. We have a great following during the day, but we want to share this with people at night. Start sharing the word. Start telling everybody that on Monday nights at 7 p.m., all right, 7 p.m. Eastern time, that's 6 p.m. Central time, we're going to be right here Mondays for the foreseeable future, sharing this type of information with everybody. So now I just showed you why we never put a large down payment on a loan, ever, whether it's a mortgage or a car. I just don't do it. All right. And here's another reason why. Here's another thing that we don't do. I don't buy down the rate. I don't let anybody else buy down the rate either. So right now, there are builders out there that will take your 7% loan and buy it down to 5.5 for you. I don't do that. If you want, you need to see these numbers as to why I don't want that to happen for you. All right, let's go back to the $200,000 mortgage. If you're new to the room, I see you, Mary. Okay, I see you, Hassan. I see you, David. Listen, if you want to see these numbers, go to YouTube. I have the link at the top of the room here, okay, in Clubhouse. So we've got a $200,000 mortgage right here. Okay. And somebody says, okay, I got, let's take that to 7%. Okay. We're going to do this now. We're going to go to 7% because that's where we are now. 7%. Okay. 7% mortgages. And let me tell you something about 7% mortgages. I like 7% mortgages. When your mortgage is higher, you can actually save more money and pay the loan off faster at a higher interest rate than you can a lower one. Can I show you what I mean? $200,000 at 7%. The payment is $1,330.60. That's the payment. All right, at 7. If you can afford the payment, I'll take 7% all day long. Now, a builder, let's just say put a builder on here. And you know what? Who can get a $200,000 mortgage anymore? I don't know anybody who can. The median home price right now in America is $420,000. There it is. 420,000 median home price. Let's take that out. Let's put that in at 7%. Okay. Now we're talking 2794.27. Now that's more realistic, isn't it? $2,794.27 at 7%. And now to entice you to buy this brand new, freshly built house, okay? A new build. Is that instead of the 7%, if you buy from us, you get it from us, we'll buy your rate down to 5.5. Look at there. 5.5. And there it is. Now, I'm not sure what it costs to buy it down to 5.5, but I need you to see the breakdown on this because most people focus in the wrong area. They're looking at the payment, which is now $23.84 instead of $27.94. $27.94 versus $23.84. And most people will look at that and say, I want that. But what you really want is to be in a position to cancel interest like a boss. You want to cancel interest big time. So I'm going to ask them, what does it cost to buy the loan down to 5.5? Let's just say they tell me it's somewhere between $12,000 and $17,000. Let's just call it $15,000. Okay. And now I'm going to find out what my closing costs are. Let's just say my closing costs are $15,000. So I go to the builder and I say, instead of buying down my rate, will you pay my closing costs instead? If you pay my closing costs, I still have my $15,000, don't I? When this loan closes, okay, at 7% instead of 5.5, when this loan closes, I still have my $15,000 because I didn't have to use it as closing costs because I got the builder. To make the payment for me. I see you, Colleen. All right, I see you, Flame. What's going on here? Colleen, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing, Don?
Listen, we're holding it down, Colleen. I'm getting excited in here. Okay. I'm getting excited. And I see Flame. Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. So, Colleen, I'm explaining why I'm not going to let a builder buy down my rate. But as soon as I'm done, I need you to tell them what you're doing in starting this new club. Okay, this new room. Okay. Now watch this, folks. Now I got them to pay my closing costs. I still have my $15,000. What if I made my first payment? Here? And then I took my $15,000 that I was going to use as a closing cost. What if I apply that to principal. I need you to look at cumulative principal again, and we're going to go down to 50. We're going to go down $15,000 I would have paid in closing costs. Watch this. I'm still scrolling. $15,000 takes off 3 years, 3 months. I need you to see how much interest that $15,000 saves me. Over $90,000 in interest. Why would I let, Lord have mercy, why would I let anybody buy my rate down when I can get them to pay my closing costs, and I can take the money that I was going to use in closing costs and put it on principal, knock off over 3 years, and save over $90,000 in interest. Oh my gosh. So listen, folks, I need to show you, there's a lot more to learn, especially if you are a real estate investor. And I am so glad that Colleen asked me to do Monday nights for you all in creative acquisitions and the wholesaling room. Colleen, tell them what you're thinking about when you put this together.
Well, Don, I know that you can help them save hundreds of thousands of dollars on their mortgages and cancel out the interest. So I am honored. I am so grateful that you have agreed to come on Monday nights. I know it's going to help so many different real estate investors, especially those that go and get mortgages, right? We have a lot of people that use the Burr method and then other people that do subject to. Don, I wonder how what you do could help somebody that took over a subject to deal.
Okay, listen. So they're paying because if you have a subject to situation, and most people like what I've heard, if they could get like a 3% deal where you're taking over subject to, and you're still paying the mortgage, but what if it's not 3%? What if it's 6%? What if it's 7%? But the deal still pencils out. You don't have to look the other way if the interest rate is higher than what you're used to in a subject to deal. All you need to do is get the deal and make sure that you're making money, that you're cash flowing once you put somebody in there that's going to be making those payments for you, whether it's a rental situation or it is a lease to own situation. Either way, you're going to be doing okay if it's making money. But watch this. Lord have mercy. Once you get this thing going, did you know that you can cut your interest costs by 75%? You can get equity 4 to 5 times faster, and you can cash out. You can pay this thing off in about 7 to 9 years, or maybe even faster. Oh man. And now the loan is paid off. Okay. You would think that everybody else is trying to do it long term, and you can do it short term. And now you can put debt on it and then take cash out and do what with it? How about down payments on new properties? What do you think, Colleen?
I was just going to say, buy more real estate.
Oh my gosh. And listen, when it comes to the Burr method, we call this ice Burr. Not iceberg, but ice Burr. Ice Burr means when you take a look at this, I need you all to take a look at this mortgage here. And if you're new to the room, you want to go to YouTube, bring out your other phone, bring out your tablet or your computer, and go to P.I.L.L method. All right. Go to P.I.L.L method on YouTube and look at these numbers. Here is a situation where we're going to go back to a $200,000 mortgage here, because that was this is our deal we put together. The deal is 200,000. Let me get this off of here. Okay. All right. Nope. Go back and let's make a change here. Okay. Not 160. We're going to make it a full 200,000. This is my deal. All right. and 6%. Okay. Now I've gotten I've rehabbed it. Okay. I put some debt on it. I've paid back my hard money loan, and now I've got a new 30-year mortgage on this. All right. I'm skipping some steps. Okay. But I am now in this thing for the next few years. And so now I'm going to, because now I'm at the last letter where I want to refi. Okay. I want to refi. All right. So now I can refi 10 to 15 years sooner by learning how all of this works. So let's make this 7%. Okay. Going to make it 7%. Look at this. All right. So now, what if I take just a little bit of money every now and then? Look at these tiny principal payments: $163, $164, as little as $2,000. $2,000 prepaid to this loan will knock off 1 year and save me $13,935.65. So, Don, why would I want to do that? Why would I want to do that? Here's why. Because even though you're collecting rent, even though they're paying, even though you're cash flowing, they still gave you enough money to make the mortgage payment for a year. That's $1,330.60. Okay. So if I put my calculator on here, 1,300, okay, $1,330.60. Okay. And 60 cents times 12. They give you enough money to make mortgage payments for a year. That's $15,967.20. That's how much money they gave you. All right. Now you're cash flowing more than that because you're renting it for more. Okay. You're doing okay. $300 to $500 cash flow on this. This is great. But they still gave you enough money to make mortgage payments totaling $15,967.20. So everybody out there is telling you, why do anything to this when your tenant is creating equity for you? But out of the $15,967, only $2,031.55 has actually created equity. The rest went up in smoke in the form of interest. You tell me, anybody who is a long, you buy and hold long term. All right, your Burr method to the bone. Can anybody tell me why they would take $15,900, almost $16,000 that your tenant gave you, and be satisfied with only $2,000 of it going to principal? Kurt the Bank Barnes, what's up, brother? Oh my goodness! I think David, why are you still in the audience?
Done.
Yeah,
Done.
come on.
What's going on?
Listen, man.
I just thought, ain't nothing. I'm here, I'm chilling, listening.
Okay.
What you doing?
All right.
We've had a couple people on stage earlier, but they didn't come up.
Okay.
I honestly came back in to shut the shit down. I see that you're, Collins in the room, you guys are in the room, so I let you do your thing, man, and I'll be back. I'm gonna keep it back. I thought it was somebody else, but I mean, you guys do whatever you gotta do. But one thing we're not gonna do. The link is up top. I'll say this, because I don't want it to be, this is the lounge, the room Thursday's official room, 8 a.m. to 12 noon.
Uh-huh.
And I'm gonna give a disclaimer again. Whatever you guys take out of this room, and whoever you guys link up with, we are not responsible for those with a green bean. I'll just say that. But Don, do you think I'm gonna leave quietly, and I'll see you guys later. Have a good night.
Have a good night, Kurt. I don't know what that was about. Does anybody know what that means? I have no idea.
Comments are for entertainment purposes only, sir.
Oh, you say what now? What'd you say, David?
All comments are for entertainment purposes.
And that was truly entertainment because I had no idea what that meant. Hey, Chris. I see Kiara, Julie, and Julio. Okay. I see you all. Reggie, you're in here in the room and you're sitting in the audience. What's up with that? Does anybody have any questions about interest cancellation and what that means? Does anybody have anything? What interest cancel? You want to have any questions about it at all? Because I've been in here for 50 minutes so far. Okay, 50 minutes so far. And what I need you to know is this: how amortization or how banks make their money through interest is not taught at any level of financial education. It's not taught at all. And we're paying way more interest than we need to, 75 to 80% more interest than you need to, because we've never been taught. All we know is try to get the lowest interest rate. All we know is try to reduce the term. All we know is if you are a real estate investor, just let the tenant pay the mortgage for you. But even when the tenant is paying the mortgage for me, I don't want to take 16,000 of the dollars my tenant gave me and only be able to afford to pay the loan down by $2,000. That doesn't make sense to me. But what does make sense is this: I have a little bit of money saved up. And this is just one way to do it, folks. I got a little bit of money saved up so that we can do repairs and maintenance on the buildings. All right. I have several doors and I need to keep some money set aside to do repairs and maintenance. And it's just sitting there. And so for all of those that tell me, Don, why would I do this when I could take my cash and invest it in more doors? I would say, go ahead and invest it, Colleen. I would say, go ahead and invest it, Chris. Go ahead and invest it, David. Whatever you set aside to invest, continue to do that. But you have some money sitting on the side here, sitting dormant, sitting in a savings account, making 1/10%. What if I have $10,000 sitting in there, but I'm putting some out of my rents I'm bringing in? I have a percentage of money going into that reserve fund every single month, like clockwork. Every single month, like clockwork. So what if I do this? I've got $10,000 sitting in there. Could I take $2,000 out? Okay, that's making 1/10%. Could I prepay it to this loan, be paid down to line 12 on this amortization schedule in 1 month? Okay, I could give them the $2,031.55 over 12 months, okay, in 12 monthly installments, or I could give it to them in 1 month if I had it. I'm going to give them $2,000 out of there. I'm going to be paid down to here in 1 month. And what happens to all this interest that I would have paid if I paid this $2,000 monthly? I'm paid down to where I owe $197,968 in 1 month. Okay, I just dropped hold on. I dropped something. I dropped my mouse on the floor. I'm getting excited here. All right. So let's get back there. Oh, okay. So now normally it would cost me $13,900 in interest to pay it down to line 12. Point A is 200,000. Point B is 197,968. But I don't have to do it in 12 monthly installments. I could do it all at one time. I can pay it in 1 month. So if I could pay it in 1 month, then that means they can't charge me interest on months between month 2 and month 12. They cannot charge me interest on that. So if I'm doing the Burr method, how fast can I get to a point where I can cash out refi? He says, well, Don, I can't keep using my money that I set aside for repairs and maintenance. No, you can't. You just wait until you can put it back. You've got money going into that account anyway. So how long is it going to be put back? How long is it going to take you to put $2,000 back? It depends on how much you're putting in there in the first place. What if you're putting in $500 a month into that account anyway, automatically every single month? It's only going to take you 4 months to put the $2,000 back, right? So here's what we're going to do for 4 months. We're just going to make regular payments. So if I'm paid down to here in January in 1 month, my next mortgage payment for February is on line 13 of my amortization schedule. All right. So now I've got line 13, 14, 15. So look at this. So this is 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months that I've made just the minimum payment on this mortgage. And guess what? My $2,000 is back in my reserve account. Could I take another $2,000 and apply it to this and knock off another year? So I've got 2 years. I've got 2 years worth of equity into this thing, and it's only cost me in interest like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about $6,000 in interest. Normally, to be paid down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. I can put another $2,000 on and be paid down to here. Normally, it would cost me $31,000 to pay this loan down by $4,700. I can get here in about 5 months by doing prepayments from money that's sitting in my reserve account, making 1/10%. Look at that. I'm knocked off over 2 years in about 6 months. You can't beat that with a stick. Hey, Colleen, does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Well, listen, this is our first show, Colleen, and I just wanted to spend about an hour. All right. Normally, I'd have more, once we get going here, we're going to have more questions. We're going to have more people interested in wholesaling. All right. And learning how to get into real estate. Okay. How to acquire properties. And we're going to add in something that people have overlooked for years. Real estate investors are leaving millions of dollars on the table. And I mean millions. Not just in extra interest paid, but when you pay that interest you don't need to pay, that's money that can't make money for you because you paid it in interest. What if we could consistently do something like this? Get to the point where we can cash out $80,000 5 to 10 years, 10 to 15 years sooner. And you can recycle that money a lot sooner, a lot faster, and buy more properties way before the next guy that's just making the minimum payments on this mortgage, just like he was taught or she was taught in class. Why pay off the mortgage early? It's not paying the mortgage off early. It's saving money in interest that we don't need to pay. And the money that we've saved, we can invest that money into more doors. Oh my goodness. I am so glad that we're doing a nighttime show. This is my first nighttime show. We hope to be able to do more, but I got to take a quick break, another commercial, so that I need to I'm going to play this for you, and then we're going to come back and we're going to wrap things up. Okay, here you go. Watch this. How many want to know how to pay off all of your debt in an average of 7 to 9 years? You can do all of this without refinancing, without change to your budget, without sacrificing lifestyle.
Me and my husband do the P.I.L.L method, and last year we were able to pay down $33,000 on our mortgage without feeling like we were poor. We still did tons of entertaining things and enjoyed our family.
You don't have to eat beans and rice every day. You don't have to cut up your credit cards. You don't have to drive a 30-year-old car. You don't have to sell pizzas at night to pay off your mortgage. All you need to do is pay the bank less interest. That's what we're talking about today. Here is what P.I.L.L method stands for: prepayment of principal, isolation of principal amounts, leverage, and liquidity. You understand it? You have a way of getting out of debt more efficiently. The interest rate you're quoted is not the interest rate you pay. You think you're buying a $500,000 home. The true cost of that home is what? $758,000. Total interest paid as a percentage of principal, 51.777%. That's what's going on with this loan. The ability to read and defeat an amortization schedule is not taught at any level of financial education. I need you to understand the power of a penny. You will not hear what I'm talking about from Dave Ramsey. Do you know why? Because I own the copyright. I literally wrote the book.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Go to ice10k.com. It's scrolling across the screen right now. ice10k.com. Click on the link. Click on the link that says Get a Savings and Earnings Report, and you can know the month, day, and year you can be debt-free, and it is complimentary. All right? There's no reason not to know. Why keep shooting in the dark? Why keep wondering why everything that you're doing isn't getting you where you want to go? Because we've never been taught the math. We have an AI cloud-based computing system that does all of the math, that tells you exactly how much money to pay, what month to pay it in, what day of the month to pay it on, and which loan to pay it to optimize or maximize the amount of interest you can save per dollar. And by cutting out 75% of that interest, you can pay off all of your debt, all of it, in an average of 7 to 9 years without refinancing, without making any more money, and without sacrifice to your lifestyle. So if you want to know more about it, there you go. So folks, listen, Colleen, do you have anything to say before we get out of here? Listen, this was our first show. I think it was a great success. I love talking to these folks here at Clubhouse and on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And we're going to be doing a nighttime show, and we're going to build a great audience. Colleen.
Yes, Don, I'm really excited for our next show. Sorry, I'm up in the Shamokin area, so my service isn't the best. But on the next one, I'll be sure to be around some good service. And I'm really excited for the nighttime shows. I know you're going to help a lot of people save a lot of money. So that is incredible. Thank you, Don.
And thank you. David, what's going on, man?
Just grocery shopping. Got my son in the car, go pick him up from soccer practice. But hey, anytime you're on, sir, I want to listen in. You're spitting the truth.
Listen, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I wish Mary had come up to the stage. I got Kurt in here. All right. Listen, if you guys have any questions or comments, listen, I got Bam in here. It's good to see you, Bam. All right. And all right, I don't have any questions right there. So listen, I want to thank everybody. All right. But I want you to know that I'm going to be back here on Wednesday. Okay. And let me show you what we're going to be talking about on Wednesday. And this will be the first time I've ever done this. We're going to be telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about the mortgage scam exposed. We're going to break it all the way down. And it's not what you think. They're not stealing our money. It's totally legal what they're doing. Okay. I'm going to point out to you what the mortgage scam actually is. Okay. It's legal what they're doing. They're not stealing. They're in business. And we need to know what type of business they're in and how they do business. And once I show you what's really going on, I will expose the scam for what it really is and what's been happening since 1836. 1836, ladies and gentlemen. That's how long this has been going on and how long we've been scammed. I'm going to show you what's happening and why you need to start paying attention. So, folks, that's going to be it for me tonight. I want to thank everybody for showing up. I want to thank everybody who came on board with us tonight. Come back on Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Central. That's 8 a.m. Eastern. And we will be right back here to talk about mortgage scam exposed. All right, everybody. That's going to be it for tonight. And let me get my music ready so we can say good night to everybody. See you. All right. See you on Wednesday. Bye-bye now.
See you. Bye-bye.